Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. I will ask you all to mute your phones. As we need for you to participate in the program, I'll ask you to unmute, and you can feel free to use the chat box for comments or chatting on the side. So, welcome to the Rotary Club of Norfolk. My name is Jim Kitts, and I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Norfolk. And I'd like to welcome all visiting Rotarians, all guests that are here with us today, and all of our fellow members of the Rotary Club of Norfolk. We will be led in music right now by Eleanor Schooner. Eleanor?
Good afternoon. And this is my husband, Roger, the real singer in the family. And we're going to sing, and hopefully you will join us on your mutes. You're a Grand Old Flag. Ready? You're a grand old flag, you're a high flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's never a post or brag. A good old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag.
Thank you very much. And now, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now please join me in the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And if Bob Healy is here, is Bob here? I'll speak for him. Will it be fun? Thank you. And now the invocation from Barry Kesser. Go ahead and unmute, Barry.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Sorry. With all the turmoil, sickness, and economic unrest in our country, I've selected Psalm 101 for today's invocation, a Psalm of David. I will sing of mercy and justice. Unto thee, O Lord, will I sing praises. I will give heed unto the way of integrity. O, when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house in the integrity of my heart. I will set no base thing before mine eyes. I hate the doing of things crooked. It shall not cleave unto me. A perverse heart shall depart from me. I will know no evil thing. Whoso slandereth his neighbor in secret, him will I destroy. Whoso is haughty of eye and proud of heart, him will I not suffer. Mine eyes are upon the faithful of the land, and they may dwell with me. He that walketh in the way of integrity, he shall minister unto me. He that walketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that speaketh falsehood shall not be established before mine eyes. Morning by morning will I destroy all the wicked of the land, to cut off all the workers of iniquity from the city of the Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Barry. And now a visitation report from Joe Massey.
Has Healy turned on yet?
I have not seen Bob.
Good. So I'm going to talk about him. The only information I have for today's meeting has to do with Lush. Bob's wife had a medical procedure, and it was elective, so she timed it to be at the week that they had to move and downsize. Now, how smart a wife is that? Other than that, I don't have a report of anybody else in the club, so I'm going to go mute and ask anyone who knows of a need for attention of a member or a member of their family to please pipe up.
Anyone have any news they want to share with someone who might need some assistance in our club? Okay, well, thank you very much. Introduction of guests. I know, Lori, you have one.
I have two guests.
Okay,
Gary Gardner is visiting with us today. We're really happy to have Gary here. And then also Pat McCollum is from, and I don't have my notes in front of me, a Rotary Club in California. And we're happy to have Pat here as well.
Pat, tell us what Rotary Club you're from.
I'm from Rotary Club of Camarillo.
Okay, well,
Southern
welcome.
California. Thank you.
And we also have Danielle Carpenter visiting us. Danielle is a financial advisor at Northwestern. Well, welcome to the meeting, and hope we get to see more of you.
Thank you.
Jim, I forgot to say, Gary is with us today because he traveled with his wife, Jane Gardner, to the Philippines many years ago. And so when I was out to dinner with Gary, I told him about the program. And so he's interested in hearing Lynn speak. So.
Well, wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Any other guests that I have not picked up? All right. Well, welcome all. Our school of the week this week is Campostella Elementary School, and our scribe for today is John Cameron. And John, just so you know, we have a backup. We are recording the meeting. Okay, so great. Today is our first meeting of the month, so we have some birthdays to celebrate. Let's go with the birthdays and anniversaries. Here's our September birthdays. We have Shep Miller on September 1st, Marsha Constant on September 5th, Gene Owens on September 6th, Joey Rothgary on September 7th, Pam Tubbs on the 12th of September, Julie Kiesling on the 17th of September, Bill Gresham on the 18th of September, and Lisa Chandler on the 29th of September. Eleanor, could you lead us in a little happy birthday?
Sure. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarian. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Thank you and congratulations to all of our birthdays. As is our tradition, all of you that were born in the month of September are hereby fined either $5 or $1 for each year. You can make your contributions to Norfolk Rotary Charities, or you can use our newly installed method of paying quickly and easily by using our Venmo. And our Venmo connection, for those who are technologically savvy, is at Rotary Club of Norfolk, all one word on Venmo. So we also have some wedding anniversaries. We have Jeff and Tink Wells celebrating 4 years in September. We have Marilyn Gowan and her husband celebrating, it says N Junior. Does it go by Junior?
No, he goes by CW.
Okay. CW,
He is
that's
a junior.
what,
He
okay,
is a
that's,
junior.
That's what I thought. I was like, Junior? I didn't know he was
No, he
Junior.
goes by CW.
Okay, celebrating 36 years. We have Joel and Kathy Heaton celebrating 52 years this month. Gary and Christine Boswick celebrating 31 years. Dave and Linda Duncan celebrating 45 years. And Jack and Ann Kavanaugh celebrating 54 years. So congratulations to all of our anniversary folks. We also have some Rotary anniversary.
I need to jump in here, and I will certainly pay something for this.
Okay.
My husband George and I, toward the end of this month of September, will be celebrating, I got to figure this out, 28 years.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And for all of you mentioned, feel free to make your contributions to the Norfolk Rotary Charities or use our newly installed Venmo. We do have some Rotary anniversaries. We have Stephen Jones, 27 years, Barry Kesser, 40 years, Barb Liflin, 31 years, Fred Walker, 38 years, Greg Bachheim, 5 years, Ed Ware, 5 years, Joel Heaton, 23 years, Will King, 12 years, Tom Ambler, 12 years, Gus Stuhlreier, 16 years, Jason Drain, 3 years, and Steve Jones, 7 years. Congratulations for all your longevity in our wonderful club. Let's move along to some club business. Sigger, are you ready to present a Paul Harris +4 for us?
I hate to say I didn't know about it, so.
Okay, so we have a.
To somebody, but to whom I'm not sure.
Okay, we're going to be presenting one to Gus Stuhlreier, and Gus is here with us. And Gus, congratulations and thank you for your support of the Rotary International Foundation. Gus is a Paul Harris Fellow +4, and hopefully your pin arrived. Did it? You're muted.
It arrived on schedule, and I already pinned myself today.
Okay, well, congratulations and thank you for your support of the foundation. Also wanted to let you know that you should have all received an email from district, and also I made mention of it in my my president's email that went out. The district conference for District 7600 is going to be held November 6th through the 8th. And it's going to be held this year at the new Oceanfront Marriott in Virginia Beach. Again, I think everyone received an individual email from the district, and there's also I included in the president's email a PDF to give you some more information. One of the things that our club will do is that if you would like to go and you sign up during the early bird time, our club will pick up your registration fee. So we look forward to having as many members as possible be there. It should be a wonderful time. I hear wonderful things about the Oceanfront Marriott there, and you know, I know a lot of hard work is going into it. I did want to let everyone know that there is also a remote option available, and we'll see how things progress as we move through the beginning of fall. I want to thank all the volunteers that participated in our 2 service projects over the last week or so. We had Rotarians both at the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia, and we had a crew that helped clean up one of the zones in Lafayette Park in Norfolk. And I just wanted to thank Walt for putting that together, and see what's, check in with Walt and see what's next on the agenda. Walt, you have the floor.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to do a repeat of last month. On the 12th of this month, we're going to go to the food bank. Couple of things to keep in mind about going to the food bank. Everybody has to wear closed-toed shoes. Nobody under the age of 18, and we're capped at 15 members. And that's at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 12th, which is a Saturday. And the second event is going to be on the 17th, which is a Thursday, at 9 o'clock. And we're going to do Baroud Park, which is just off of Tidewater Ave, downtown Norfolk. That's a Thursday. We're going to do it at 9 o'clock. I'll pick up the supplies at 8:30 that morning. And they will provide the bags, gloves, the hand sanitizer, and the trash bags, as well as pickup sticks, which we found last week was very beneficial. Instead of bending down 1,000 times to pick up all that trash, those sticks came in real handy, saving in the back.
And so did the tennis rackets.
Well, and I told them about that. They're going to see about getting more of those tennis rackets.
So for those of you who don't know, go ahead, Walt, you tell the story.
No, go ahead.
For those of you who don't know, one of the things that the city provided for us were tennis rackets without the strings. And basically you fold the garbage bag over the frame of the tennis racket and use some paper, some clip things, and it made a nice little garbage holder and really made things a lot easier.
Yeah, that worked out really well. So those are the two events we have planned for this month so far. We might try to get a third event in on the last week of the month, and we're still working on that.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Walt. Appreciate the update. And Walt, I also wanted to express my appreciation for you taking the community service chair and running with it. One of the things I talked about during the inauguration was when I see some things that I think are worthy of recognition, you are my second recipient of a Rotary coin. And I talked about this during the inauguration. I'm stealing it from my military days.
Right.
We used to have challenge coins in the military, and this is our Rotary version, and you can expect one from us in the mail, and we thank you for taking a leadership role with our community service. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, now we move along to fines and happy bucks. For those who are visiting who aren't familiar, we used happy bucks and fines as a means of helping fund our charitable endeavors throughout the year. As I mentioned earlier, if you were one of our anniversary people or birthday people, feel free to give your $5 donation or $1 for each year, whichever you prefer. I do have one fine that I wanted to bring out. Mal Branch was in the Virginian pilot, apparently talking about some form of caterpillar that eats ravenously but becomes a beautiful butterfly. So Mal, I know you're not here, but you're going to get an email from me with the appropriate fine. Does anyone have any happy news that they would like to share?
Jim, I've got some.
Go ahead, Joe.
On the 26th, my oldest and her husband gave me my third grandchild. Her name is Alice Ashley Marks, named after my late wife. And
Wonderful.
I know that there's a length of the body and a weight of the body. I don't know what all that stuff is.
As long as everyone's healthy, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Jim, it's me, Lorna.
Lorna.
Yes, I saw Mike Goldsmith on here, and I want to give some money for the city and all the work that Mike's doing to keep us safe. I think they're doing a remarkable job down there, and I know he's been busy, and we don't see him as often as we'd like, but I really think that the operations that he oversees are doing an excellent job, and I'd like to thank him for that.
Thank you, Lorna, and thank you, Mike.
Yeah, let me know what you give, Lauren, and I'll match it.
Who else has some news to share?
I'll give some happy bucks, Jim, for having Lynn as our speaker today and staying up in the Philippines to talk to us. It's after midnight there. We're happy to have her.
Okay, Lynn, I will match that. Oh, and Lori, I will match that. Just let me know.
Thank you, Laurie.
Okay.
I'll confess a fine and happy bucks because I guess I didn't fill out my form right, but tomorrow is my 67th birthday and 42nd anniversary of marriage. So with great glee, I will pay that. But also, happy bucks. Next Tuesday, we'll have a soft opening of Prime Plus classes. And I'm happy to announce we have a waiting list for each class. And so if you want to participate, you can do it on our Prime Plus Facebook page. So scary but exciting times coming up. We're going to look at making the move past COVID.
Wonderful. That's great news, Bob. Anyone else?
I'll give some happy bucks to do a little public service announcement. You know, through this pandemic, we've had so many events canceled. And normally we do an annual fundraiser for the Up Center, which is the stair climb at the tallest building in Virginia at the Westin Tower. Well, obviously this year we couldn't do it, and we have been waiting to hear back from the city and the Virginia Department of Health. But this year we are going to be climbing the steps at the Harbor Park Stadium. So on September 12th, if you want to come out, you can climb the bleachers. We're all going to be socially distanced, and you can go up one set of steps across and down another pair of steps and run around the stadium. It is the only event that will be taking place in Harbor Park this spring and this summer, this season. So if you really have the urge to get out to the ballpark and climb some steps, we'd love to have you. But I am just happy to see us pivoting and make this event happen in one way or another.
That's great. Barb, are they going to include a lap around the bases?
I don't think so.
Just an idea. Thanks for sharing. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much. I will let you know that our Vice President in charge of programs is Lori Harrison. And Lori, you have the floor.
Okay, great. I am Rotarian of the Day. I've been in Rotary since 2014, and I really enjoy meeting people from diverse backgrounds that I might not have ever met before other than Rotary. And my fun fact is that I was in the Philippines, I don't know how many years ago, a while ago, with Physicians for Peace doing a burn care mission. And I actually attended Lynn's Rotary Club meeting before I was a Rotarian. So I did go to the Rotary Club meeting in the Philippines, even though I don't have a flag for it. But anyways, that's my fun fact. So today I am beyond excited to introduce Lynn Ebenia. Lynn worked for the Manila Bulletin for 43 years. She started as in clerical work. She went to branch management, moved to department head, onto assistant vice president and the vice president for advertising until her retirement. And the Manila Bulletin is one of the leading national newspapers in the Philippines. In 2004, she was invited to be the in-country representative of Physicians for Peace USA and the executive director. And then once she retired from the Manila Bulletin, she became the chief operating officer for Physicians for Peace Philippines. She organizes and oversees multi-specialty surgery missions of international and local doctors to various parts of the Philippines. Her being with Physicians for Peace enabled her to link PFP and Rotary International districts in the Philippines and have become partners in service on various projects. Most notably is the Prosthetics and Orthotics Center, complete with amputee ward and walk unit at the Philippine General Hospital. Currently, she manages a partnership with UNICEF and is developing a package on children's disabilities, hearing impairments, vision impairments, and neurodevelopmental and mobility impairments. Lynn has been an active and committed club member since 1994. She became the president of the Rotary Club of Intramuros and was awarded Most Outstanding President of the Year in 99 to 2000. She's also been awarded Club Rotarian of the Year many times. She was elected district governor of the Rotary District 3810 in 2006, covering 100 Rotary clubs. Also that same year, she was chosen to be the group study exchange leader to Brazil on educational, economic, and cultural exchange. And after serving the district as governor, she was immediately appointed as South Pacific Rotary International Public Image Resource Coordinator, covering several countries to serve from 2007 to 2012 and serving 4 Rotary International presidents. Lynn is a major donor to the Rotary Foundation. She's got 7 brothers, 4 sisters, 3 children, and 3 grandchildren. She's an active public speaker. She speaks on several topics, including public image, community service, membership development program in Rotary, and on and on and on. And I'm so proud to introduce Lynn, who will be speaking to us today on the relevance of Rotary during COVID-19. Welcome. So happy to see you.
Thank you, Lori. That was quite long. But I still have a life. I'm not really that busy. Okay, thank you so much. And it's a pleasant day for all of us. Thank you so much. And cheers to all of you. President Kim, Jim, probably Lori might have twisted your arm to allow me to speak today and be your guest speaker. She's a friend.
We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you, thank you. I actually enjoyed the 30-minute break that we had, your interactions, your happy backs, and creative way of raising funds for the club. So I enjoyed, and you all make me smile. And I know that there are so many generous hearts in your club. Let me share some screen. Just a second.
Perfect. We can see it.
I have to go back to my first screen. Just a second, Jim.
Okay.
Here, share screen. It's not a number one. Okay. Okay, thank you for understanding. I'm actually showing you the virtual handshake. I would imagine myself being with you today, shaking hands with everyone. But right now, because of the pandemic and I cannot go to the States, I'm extending my hand to all of you for a warm hello and greetings to everyone. I chose the topic, the relevance of Rotary and our partners during COVID-19. As we all know, COVID-19 has forced us to remodel personal behavior, restructure established institutions, and generally change our way of life. It has forced us to adapt to change and face so many challenges. Rotary has even adjusted its rules. They relaxed the rules and to adapt to the change and made our meetings quite informal in the Philippines, and we're not even the paying of dues has been adjusted to a smaller amount in countries like the Philippines. Rotary members are innovating, caring for those affected, and showing that even at a distance, there are ways to help. The embodiment of Rotary clubs and their ultimate purpose is to embrace and support communities in need. Thus, the world needs Rotary more now than ever before. Never in our lifetime has humanity been better equipped to crush a threat to our well-being of these dimensions. We have the heart to fight back. What distinguishes defining moments in our history is not the nature of the crisis, but rather the quality of the decisions that we make. In the wake of the drastic measures taken by our political leaders to address the outbreak, we as Rotary have our own decisions to make. In the Philippines, these decisions need to be guided by three simple principles. The first one is that individual action has the greatest bearing on the disease. And that includes personal hygiene, social distancing, and other guidelines outlined by the World Health Organization. And we must all take individual responsibility to stop the spread of the virus. Fighting disease is one of Rotary's main causes, so we must support efforts to promote proper hand washing techniques, teach people other ways to stay healthy, and supply training and vital medical equipment to healthcare providers. The second is to support the government in its initiatives to flatten the curve, as indeed it is a concerted effort by the private sector, public institutions, development organizations, and the society as a whole that will stop this pandemic. We can help health authorities communicate life-saving information about COVID-19 and donate protective gear and other supplies to clinics and hospitals that are under strain because of the pandemic. And thirdly, it is in sharing messages of hope and reminding people that together we will prevail and that the disruption in our lives is not only momentarily, but also a crucial part of continuity. I believe that it is through our determination and commitment that we give hope and healing to the world. Rotary's message as people of action to me is so captivating, empowering, and dramatic. And it tells the world that we are here, even during COVID-19. So guided by these three principles, we Rotarians rise up to the moment. And because we are people of action, all the clubs and the districts all over the world, I see that on website, Philippines included, have responded. And Rotary has never been more relevant than ever before. And Rotarians will continue to meet the needs of our local communities and our world, as you always do in Norfolk, as I listened to your interactions earlier. The districts in the Philippines have been so lucky and privileged to be given Rotary grants. It allowed our clubs and our districts to provide like vehicles to transport frontliners, providing food to all these frontliners who continue to save lives. We also donate ventilators and other hospital equipments and test kits. We also provide personal protective equipment, masks, face shields, food bags, just like your food bank. As I speak, we continue to do our share with or without the Rotary grants. We continue to do what we do best. I am sharing with you some slides, just very few, to show photos of Rotarians in action. This is because of the Rotary grant, a mobile clinic that was just delivered last month in the southern part of Manila, made possible through a grant with the Korean clubs. We also, just like what you do, we provide PPEs and masks and face shields to the frontliners who are actively working, saving lives, as well as to the communities. We continue to give food packs, and we also do fumigation and sanitation in several areas in the country. Because rice is our staple food, we continue to provide every week to all the drivers in Metro Manila who have not been able to do livelihood because of the quarantine. So this is a very common project in all the clubs here in the Philippines. I'm sure you've learned or you've seen on TV that there were many stranded overseas Filipino workers in many terminals in the airports. So we also provided food packs to them. So those are some of the many that we do in the Philippines to help the government and other organizations during the COVID-19. In my talk today, I thought I will be remiss if I will not mention anything about Physicians for Peace. It's a nonprofit organization based right here in Norfolk, Virginia, whose founder was the late Dr. Charles Horton, who was your member, I believe. Your invitation, therefore, brings back memories for me because he brought me in your lunch meeting sometime 2005. And I think I was also your guest speaker. I think it was in 2009 or 2010. Fast forward, Physicians for Peace chartered Physicians for Peace Philippines upon the initiative of a Filipino-American doctor based in Norfolk, Virginia, Dr. Juan Montero, immediately after the visit of Dr. Horton in the Philippines some 23 years ago. And since then, Physicians for Peace Philippines have created health projects working on the gaps of the Philippine health system and has continuously served the Filipino people, providing access to assistive technology and rehabilitation, specialized surgical care, quality burn care, maternal and child care. Through the years, the Philippine chapter has become a self-sustaining organization with valuable support from Physicians for Peace US, World Health Organization, USAID, Latter-day Saints Charities, Rotary, and UNICEF. With help from UNICEF, it has evolved from creating health services to developing health policies and packages for children with disabilities on vision, hearing, mobility, and developmental. The health packages is now included in the Philippine Health Benefit Package. I'm showing you the photos of the hubs that we have created, or a one-stop center for all the children with disabilities all over the country. We are privileged and lucky that we've been able to build this center, one in Manila, one in the Eastern Visayas, and one in Mindanao. These are three major islands in the Philippines. It's not enough, but at least we're doing our share. And very recently, through the partnership with the Office of the Vice President of the Philippines and a generous donor, we have been able to come up with a mobility van. As you can see, this can go around remote places in Manila and elsewhere and make the prosthesis, orthosis accessible to these people who need. This has just been recently inaugurated, and the first place that we are going is in Cavite, an area southern Manila. The question is, has it been relevant during COVID-19 pandemic? Are we relevant? My answer is absolutely yes. The social restrictions brought about by COVID-19 led to a shift in project implementation approach to digital strategies. At the same time, new needs have emerged due to the impact of the pandemic with disabilities. And so Physicians for Peace and UNICEF have developed the following initiatives: development of accessible infection prevention control, mental health and psychosocial support, accessibility support for webinars, development of early intervention and home-based modules for persons with disabilities. While the COVID-19 pandemic mainly affects the physical health, it also threatens mental and psychosocial health of individuals. People may also feel worried on the health of their families and friends, losing jobs and other sources of income, and having inadequate access to basic supplies. And due to the implementation of the community quarantine, which has been already 6 months since March, individuals may not be able to access to health and rehabilitation services that they need, which can be another source of stress for their family. And so in view of this, we at Physicians for Peace, together with UNICEF and other partners, we are conducting series of webinar sessions that are live streamed through Zoom and social media sites. An initial training was conducted last July 28 to 30, August 23 to 24, which targeted to empower families and care providers of children with mobility impairment to continue quality care, safe and available services during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a home care service. Currently, early intervention modules are also being developed to support services for children with mobility, hearing, vision, or developmental disability. We have integrated signed languages interpretation and narration for video materials for the vision and hearing impaired. Rotary and Physicians for Peace Philippines are great partners in our country. And as I speak, we continue to fight COVID-19 together. We offer Rotary our services on disabilities. Last year alone, we have been able to give over 10 million pesos worth of services. We also partner with Rotary on our campaign of End Polio. So these are the services that we offer to the districts in the Philippines: prosthesis, hearing, vision, wheelchairs and walkers, and more of the mobility devices. So this is what is always available for Rotary. We also partner with Rotarians in our End Polio campaign. You can see in the photo, Junaisa, a 4-year-old girl, declared by Department of Health very recently as the very first polio victim after 19 years that Philippines was declared polio-free. We took care of Junaisa and Nancy, the other girl. They are both from Mindanao. I had to ask Rotarians from that area, from Mindanao, to help us bring Junaisa to Manila, to our center, for her needed braces and walker. And we also provided wheelchair and arranged for rehabilitation back to Mindanao. Physicians for Peace Philippines healthcare services are in different parts of the country and have changed lives of so many people through our healthcare missions and trainings. As we live up to the mantra of our founder, the late Dr. Charles Horton, teach one, heal many. They say every day holds the possibility of a miracle. For Junice's mother, Saima, each day symbolizes a new hope for her daughter's future. My dear friends of the Rotary Club of Norfolk, Virginia, Physicians for Peace Philippines, Rotary, and the Filipino people are forever grateful because our partnerships and the work we do in the Philippines all started in a place called Norfolk, Virginia. So now let me leave you with these words. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. But if you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for your inspiring words. And what we'd like to do is open it up to some questions, if that's okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
I'd be
Okay.
delighted.
Who has a question for Lynn? If you'll just unmute and ask, that would be great.
I do. Lynn, how did you get involved with Physicians for Peace? What led you there?
It's a very nice, nice story. Dr. Montero and Dr. Horton visited the Philippines some 23 years ago. When they went back to Virginia, Dr. Montero thought of going back to the Philippines again because he saw the need. For many years, like 6 years, they've been going back and forth Philippines, doing once a year surgical missions. On the 7th year, Dr. Montero told his team and his group, I think we have to make our presence be felt in the Philippines more than the surgical. So when he went back to the Philippines, he talked to some friends in the Philippines, some Rotarians, and told his friends in the Philippines that Physicians for Peace US is wanting to have more in the Philippines and that someone to take care of their interest in the country. I don't know why my name propped up. Maybe it's serendipity, as Dr. Montero would say. He attended a meeting because he was in the area in Intramuros, and he was told by that friend, you better attend our Rotary Club meeting. That time, I was already a past president, and I was planning to retire from my work at the newspaper. Actually, it didn't happen. The retirement didn't happen. But Dr. Montero and I met together with John Knight and told me a little bit about Physicians for Peace in the Rotary meeting. Well, I got interested and I started asking some questions. After that meeting, when he sat down in our table, he said, can we ask you to join Physicians for Peace? I told them, you're barking at the wrong tree because I am with the newspaper. I have 2 other organizations. I'm probably the busiest person in the world. So he said, don't worry, your little time would be enough for us. So can we have a meeting with you? But didn't happen because I had to travel to Palawan in Mindanao. So I said, I'm sorry, I can have another meeting with you because I have another meeting. I'm traveling. I have a flight, early morning flight tomorrow. So Dr. Montero said, what a serendipity. We're also going to Palawan. Imagine that we all had another meeting in Palawan. And in that underground river where we all saw each other again, I think it was sailed that I will be joining Physicians for Peace. 2 months after, I found myself visiting Norfolk for orientation, and that was in 2004. That time, I was also selected as group study exchange leader to Brazil, and I was also nominated as governor. So again, it was a conflicting moments for me and confusing. So I told Physicians for Peace, I'm changing my mind. I may not be able to take over the job of Physicians for Peace in the Philippines. But again, they said, your little time will be more than enough for us. So it happened. And so from that time on, 2004 until now. I retired already after so many years. 5 years ago, I retired at Bulletin, and UNICEF came in. So Physicians for Peace became self-sustaining. But many, many years, we were supported by Physicians for Peace US. That's why we are forever grateful. And so I wear two hats here in the Philippines. I connect Physicians for Peace and Rotary, and I think together we do more. Thank you.
Thank you. Interesting.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you know how that person or those people contracted polio after it was supposedly done away with?
Yes, 19 years of polio free.
I mean,
Yes.
amazing.
So it was sad that all of a sudden we had actually 7. As I speak now, we already have 7 victims. The first one, Junaisa, got her infection. I think fecal. They don't have. It's very unhygienic in their place in Mindanao, and all of a sudden the child had fever. The mother did not realize that the child was already infected with polio only after 5 days when she brought the girl, the 4-year-old Janisa, to the hospital. And we found out that of her 7 children, 3, the youngest 3, were not vaccinated by polio or with polio. So they realized how important it is. We had to rush this girl. She was only given a week, I think. Otherwise, the body will deteriorate, will be suffering from polio. So we were able to not really brought her back to normal, but the braces and the walkers, I think, are giving her a relief. She is up to now continuing with her rehabilitation program in Mindanao. We sent her back after a month of treatment here in Manila.
So again, just to follow up on Julie, all 7, do you think all
7 victims
got it because they had not been vaccinated?
They have not been vaccinated. I think there was a time in the Philippines, I think this was 3 years ago, when we had so much problem with the Department of Health regarding a certain kind of medicine. It was a big issue in the Philippines that all the mothers were so afraid to bring their children to our health centers for vaccination. I forgot the vaccination that has created so much problem in the Philippines that has affected polio. It was not polio, it was another kind of vaccination, but it created fear to many mothers in the country. Because Jonaisa is 4 years old. So if it happened 3 or 4 years ago, yes, Jonaisa failed to get the vaccination. So this last month, even with COVID, we decided, the country, the Philippines, the Department of Health decided to bring back the vaccination of polio. We stopped for about 4 months because of the pandemic, but we're back since July last month.
Any other questions for Lynn?
I'm just wondering, Lynn, if there's any one story. I know there's so many from your work with Physicians for Peace and Rotary, but is there a story that you could, relay to us about what you've been able to do? One specific person that you remember or really touched your heart? I know there's many.
Okay, there's this, well, yes, there's a lot of beneficiaries from the partnership. Physicians for Peace has done a lot. In Philippine General Hospital alone, there's this girl brought to us by one of the TV anchor ladies, TV5. Her name is Nadia. The girl suffered a gunshot wound in her face and lost her right leg and lost her left eye. This girl, the anchor TV, Cheryl Qasim, I remember, brought her to the hospital, PGH, our center, Physicians for Peace Center. And so Dr. Penny Bundok, one of our champion doctors, asked me to come over. And I saw personally the child. And her story was, there was a gunfire shooting in Mindanao, and her father was killed in that shooting. And that was also a stray bullet that hit the girl, Nadia. She was 9 years old when I last saw her. That was the reason she lost her leg, lost her right eye, and lost her, and had wounds in her face. When she was brought to us, she was just asking for a leg. But Penny and I decided to contact 2 more doctors to take care of the other needs. So when that girl stayed at PGH for more than a month, the treatment took her for a long 1.5 months. And it was so touching because when she was about to go back to Mindanao, we bought her plane tickets, we were at the airport. I asked Nadia, would you like to give me your home address? Because I want to visit you when we have the chance, or maybe send you something. She said, you can give me lipstick. And I was laughing, but she was asking lipstick. And you can give me headband. Send them to me, but don't come to our place. I said, why wouldn't you want us to go to your place? Because you might just be shot and you might lose your leg. So that was the great memory of that girl. Her name is Nadia. She's now well. She's now 12 years old. Physicians for Peace changed her life.
Thanks for sharing that, Lynn. Any other questions? All right, Lynn. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining our club. I'd like to thank you for staying up late tonight and sharing your story. The connections between what you're doing in the Philippines and our town, our city of Norfolk, are incredible. I was not aware of them, and I really appreciate you sharing them with us. One of the things that we do, as we are a club very committed to literacy amongst our community, is we donate a book in your honor to our School of the Week. And so as a thank you to you for joining us, a book will be sent to Compostela Elementary School, and it'll have a little placard inside of it that basically says that it's there in your honor. And the next time you come to Norfolk, perhaps we can go see it together.
Sure, thank you. You're so nice of you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Gift.
Well, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been wonderful having you, and you know, you're welcome to join us whenever you want, and feel free to you know, maybe forward some information, and perhaps we can join one of your meetings in the Philippines.
I'll stay connected.
Yeah.
And thank you, Lori, for the idea of me guesting in your meeting. Thank you. Well wishes to you, Jim, as you go through your journey as club president.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, and thanks for all that you've done. Our meeting next week will be a virtual meeting also, starting at 12:30 on Tuesday, September 8th. We're going to a different part of the world next week. We're going to South Africa, and our speaker will be Kenny Takalo. Chris, I hope I said that correctly. But
close enough, friend.
What's that?
Close enough. I don't think you'll take offense.
Okay, all right. And he'll be speaking to us on apartheid and the ongoing struggles in post-apartheid South Africa. So I appreciate you all being here. I hope you found it as informative as I did. I appreciate all you do for our club and the community, and we are adjourned until next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.